And welcome to yet another fun episode of Imagination Fun Time. I am your host, Brandon Devine. Hi, hello, how are you folks today? Today is May 25th, 2021. And for those of you who are already aren't completely following every aspect of my life and aren't complete diehard fans of mine after only 3 episodes of this podcast. Today is actually my birthday. Today I am 28 years old. God, birthdays really lose their meaning. Like, they say, 21 is, the last fun birthday of people's lives. I think the last fun birthday is really when you're, a kid and, you get to wake up and have that fun, awesome day of, your parents doing stuff for you, and you get to go to school and, your teachers do some fun stuff for you, and then you get to have a fun birthday party either at your house or wherever. And I don't know, birthdays are literally just another day. This morning I woke up, went out for a walk / rode my skateboard for a little bit, just got some nice fresh air early in the morning. Been chilling. I've been watching a bit of Kiki's Delivery Service and the Blues Brothers. Not really much else. Gonna go get a haircut and do some other stuff. Just honestly, just always do what you want on your birthday. It's always a good thing. That's what you should always do. Hope you're all doing well. It's raining outside here in Arkansas. Oh my God, I cannot wait to get out of here. I cannot wait to move back to New York. It is going to be amazing once I get back there and I get to deal with the New York rain. Okay, so let us see what's going on IMDb today. The trailer for the Eternals, the teaser trailer. I definitely need to check that out. That looks. Is that a little girl, a little redhead girl? That looks cool. Okay, what is the top news trending right now? Okay, so as of May 25th, 2021 at 12:08 p.m., the top news on IMDb is Boss Baby 2 to hit theaters and Peacock on the same day. I guess that'll be good. Should, maybe. Never saw the first one. Lee Daniels signs new overall deal with 20th Television. That should be fun. Lee Daniels does always some good work. Jesse Plemons to star opposite Elizabeth Olsen in HBO Max series Love and Death. God, I've seen Jesse Plemons in stuff since I was a little kid, and then I just still can't shake off how completely horrifying he is in Breaking Bad, which I'm sure I will talk about on a later episode. Joseph Gordon-Levitt to star as Uber CEO in Showtime series from Billions writers. Interesting. That should be fun. I always love a good backstory behind something really cool that's happened in recent times. And honestly, the story of Uber, that sounds pretty interesting. I could do that. Oh yeah, and Timothy Chalamet to play young Willy Wonka in a Warner Brothers movie. It's one of those things that makes me question, why are they doing it? Well, obviously I know why they're doing it, for money, but it gives me hope because even though it could probably really suck, I hope it doesn't, because who doesn't love Willy Wonka? Willy Wonka is just an amazing, awesome movie, the classic Gene Wilder film. And yes, I am going to say openly that I do enjoy Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And I know there are many people, especially people who are kids like me when it came out, that didn't like it. But fuck those people. It was a good movie. Johnny Depp did a great job. And yeah, that should be pretty much it. Okay, so let's get into what the topic of discussion for this podcast. This is going to be the first podcast where I discuss a movie. So I'm a little nervous. Like I said, I'm just going to try and discuss and give you guys some facts, some interesting points, and stuff like that about a great motion picture. And the first motion picture that I'm going to discuss on my podcast, Imagination Fun Time, starring me, Brandon Devine, is the classic 1975 movie Dog Day Afternoon. This movie, it was released on September 21st, 1975. It is written by Frank Pearson. It was produced by Martin Bregman and Martin Elfman. Ooh, two Martins. How interesting. And directed by the great Sidney Lumet. The movie, the main cast is as follows: Al Pacino as Sonny, John Cazale as Sal, Charles During as Sergeant Moretti, Chris Sarandon, I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right, I always feel like I'm not, as Leon, and James Broderick as Agent Sheldon. The basic plot of Dog Day Afternoon is the story of a bank robbery that literally goes completely wrong. Because honestly, if the bank robbery went right, it would last for like 3-4 minutes, and then that would be it, and there really would be no movie. But it's this robbery just goes completely wrong, right from the get-go, because obviously not because of the incompetence of the people being held hostage, but naturally it's because of the incompetence of the bank robbers. And oh my god, just so many things go wrong. It starts out pretty well, think they're gonna get away, but it's literally everything gets fucked up because Al Pacino has to, instead of just taking the bank ledger, and bringing it with him, for some reason you gotta burn it. You gotta burn it right there in the middle of the fucking bank. And, the smoke from that caused the police to get called, and from there, everything just got fucked up. And the whole rest of the movie is basically just Al Pacino and John Cazale going back and forth with, at first, Sergeant Moretti, and then Agent Sheldon, of just, the list of classic bank hostage demands. They want transportation out of there, and for some goddamn reason, they actually think they are going to get out of the country on a fucking plane. Which is just stupid, because any person who literally thinks they are going to get away with that is just a fucking moron. And just a lot of really awesome, just a lot of back and forth moments. Al Pacino just, he's the one basically holding the whole movie together. John Cazale's character, literally just from the moment they're caught, basically knows that either he's going to die, Al is going to die, or they're both going to die. But basically somebody's going to die. And just, it's all just a big back and forth between, God, I don't really know. I'm really high right now. So anyways, it's just literally, you can literally see like the whole plot of the movie. I'm not going to sit here and just tell you all the plot details. It's basically, all goes wrong. In the end, Al Pacino gets arrested. John Cazale sadly dies. And all the hostages are free. And, it's basically it. The movie itself is based on the 1972 story of a actual bank robbery in Brooklyn, where literally basically what happens in the movie happened in real life. 2 kids take hostages in a bank and attempt to flee the country, but one of them was killed and the other was arrested and put in jail. And it's gotta be cool I don't know how weird that would be, being in jail and then knowing that there's a major motion picture being made about your life, and you literally can't even go see it because you're in jail. So the screenplay is based on a Life magazine article. And what I liked about this movie is I haven't seen like too many classic bank robbery movies, but like just throughout, watching TV and movies throughout my life, you see like so many different kinds of stories of bank robbers. And what I really like about this movie is it really shows the human side of the bank robbers and how, they're really not terrible guys. They're just dumb, stupid guys that make dumb mistakes. Well, yeah, they are pretty bad guys, but still, it shows the more human element to them. The entire movie, let's see, this movie was filmed, I'm going by my notes here. This movie was filmed on location in Brooklyn, New York in fall of 1974. Uh, the address they used is 285 Prospect Park West. So what they did was apparently the production crew took an old warehouse, like that was like a first floor warehouse, and they basically took like half of that, put a wall between the rest, and built the set of the bank. So that gave the entire movie the ability to shoot on location, both inside the bank and outside the bank, without having to look like it was shot completely on a soundstage, because none of it was shot on a soundstage. For those of you who don't know anything about, who don't know who Sidney Lumet is, Sidney Lumet is this really, really influential director who was both a major part of old Hollywood and then successfully transitioned into new Hollywood during the transition in the 60s and 70s. The major film that he directed during the age of old Hollywood was he directed the adaptation of 12 Angry Men, something I actually have some connection to because we did 12 Angry Men in high school, where I got to play the prissy juror number 4. And Sidney Lumet is just this insanely awesome director who just has done like such a wide variety of different kinds of movies. I read somewhere that he basically made a movie almost every year for like 30 something years, which is pretty insane. If you can do that back to back to back, keep making movies like that and not just keel over from just exhaustion and insanity. But reading about the backstory of the making of this movie is Sidney Lumet, I read that he's a very visionary director. Most directors should be visionary and have the vision of what they're trying to direct, but he always seemed to know exactly what he wanted and knew how to get it. And he is also a director who worked really well with the actors, which some directors really aren't. Some directors really don't know how to work with the actors as well and just really let the actors do their own thing. It really depends on both the director and the actor. Some actors really don't want directors to work with them and just want to be able to do their own thing. Some actors really like a director who gives them very specific direction on how to act and what they want. I personally enjoy when a director really knows what they're looking for and can give me guidance to my performances and stuff like that. I've never taken offense to it because they're a director. They should know what they want. So, this whole movie ended up really taking over like a couple blocks of Brooklyn for like a good 7 weeks, I think. And it was just day and night shooting this big ass movie. And the production offered to relocate any of the residents on those blocks to like hotels during that time if they just didn't really want to be bothered by the movie. I'm sure there were some people that took up on that, maybe probably others that weren't. But dude, from watching that movie and understanding from the perspective of having been part of movie productions and just knowing how insane it is, the scale of it is pretty cool. Like, there is just so many fucking people involved in this movie. There's hundreds, like probably 200 plus people that are just background extras as cops, as FBI agents, and just as various bystanders and onlookers. And that's a lot for just constantly having those people day after day on set. That is a lot of stress. And I even read that eventually even just regular, citizens of Brooklyn, New York City just wandered into the background as well. And then Sidney Lumet and the rest of the crew was just like, yeah, fuck it. They're not harming anybody. It looks good in the scene. Let's keep it. I can imagine that just must have been hell. And oh yeah, I also wrote down here, where was background holding for all those people? Where the hell do you keep all those people in between takes? Or do they all just have to stay where they are basically for hours on end? So I read that handheld cameras were scattered throughout the crowds, I think, to give a realistic feel to the crowd shots. Oh yeah, the famous Attica line shouted by Pacino during in the movie. That was all improvised apparently. But I guess Al just really thought it would add to the character, which it really does. The anti-authorityness of the character in the whole movie really makes sense with them shouting Attica. For those of you who don't know what he means by that, there was a prison riot, a very famous and deadly prison riot in Attica prison back in the early 70s. And damn, it just sucked. People died, cops died. It's just never cool when people die like that. That's so fucked up. Let's see. I'm just reading from my notes here. I'm sorry, people. Let's see. Lumet's the director. Yeah, I already talked about that. It really tries. Helped them make good actor choices. Oh, the portrayal of Leon. In the movie, Chris Sarandon's character, Leon, turns out to be a man transitioning into a woman, and is also in a movie. Yeah, in the movie he's referred to as Al's wife. So yeah, he's his wife. In the movie, and just the whole portrayal of it, especially for this being in the fucking 70s, the whole portrayal of the trans character of Leon was really, really handled in a really cool way, because it wasn't portrayed as like a huge major plot point. It was just basically like, okay, he's trans. And then that's just really it. And then just the human side of his character comes out. It's just basically the insane abusive relationship that between him and Pacino. Sonny is naturally, who would have guessed that a guy who's insane enough to rob a fucking bank is not that good in a fucking relationship to their partner. Leon saying that Sonny is, abusive, yells, stuff like that, and just drove him crazy, and eventually drove him to an insane asylum, stuff like that. And just the whole the way Chris portrayed Leon as a gay man transitioning into a woman, he wasn't portrayed super flamboyantly. He wasn't portrayed really theatrically. He just was really just very human, just very real. And Chris Sarandon was nominated for an Academy Award for that portrayal, and rightfully so. It was pretty dope. Let's see what else. Just the whole. One of the reasons I chose to talk about this movie for this episode is this whole movie to me is just seriously a dark comedy. It is just so fucking funny all throughout the movie, and it's mainly because of Pacino. Pacino is just so fucking funny throughout the entire movie. He's just so neurotic and just so energetic and kind of off the walls in a lot of ways. And rightfully so, because he's just under naturally a lot of pressure. Is he going to live, die, go to jail for the rest of his life, or get away with it? That's got to be a lot of pressure. And he's just got so many, hilarious moments. Let's see, one of the funny moments is just Sal asking his son, why'd you have to start a fire? The moment after they're caught, he's just points out the the irony of like, dude, why'd you have to start a fire? If you didn't start that fire, we could have gotten away. Why'd you have to start a fire? Oh yeah, like once the robbery begins, like all the people in the bank just suddenly start berating Sonny and just yelling at him like, "You're a fucking idiot, fuck you!" And you know what's he gonna do at that point? Is he gonna shoot him? No. Oh, cool backstory. Cool backstory behind connection between this movie and The Simpsons is the voice of Mo Sizlak. The gravelly, weird. That's such a shitty Mo impression. The really gravelly voice of Mo Sizlak, voiced by Hank Azaria, is I guess modeled after Al Pacino's portrayal of Sonny in this movie, and Hank has said that apparently the way he does Mo is just impersonating Pacino in this movie and then just making it sound really gravelly. Let's see, what else do I got on this list? The ending of the movie ends at JFK Airport where Sal gets shot, the hostages are released, and Sonny is taken to jail. That whole scene apparently was shot all in one night. One single night. Because that's all that JFK would allow the production to use the airport for. And that must have been insane. Like, they must have been going nonstop. Holy fuck. That is a lot to shoot in just one night. Especially, let's see, this was in the fall. So, I'm guessing New York fall. So, probably sunset maybe around between 6 and 7. And then sunrise probably between 6. So, yeah, it's only like 12 hours. Probably, yeah, like only around, probably around 12 hours that they got, 10 to 12 hours, something like that. That's a lot to shoot in that amount of time. The entire phone conversation between Sal and Leon, which is like 15 minutes long, that was all fully improvised between just the two of them, which that is really cool because they get so deep and so emotional in that, and that just shows the incredible power that good actors have when they're really good at their craft. What else? Here's a side note. The great Harvey Fierstein, legendary Broadway actor, he was an extra in the crowd as one of the gay supporters for Leon. So that's pretty cool. And let's see who. And James Broderick, the man who plays FBI agent Sheldon. Now, if you're asking yourself, Broderick, that sounds familiar. Where have I heard that before? Well, he is the father of Matthew Broderick, famous most for Ferris Bueller, The Lion King, The Producers, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's really, and let's see. What is the theme of this movie? The whole theme of this movie, if you watch it the whole way through, is like it's supposed to be a very anti-establishment movie. This whole movie is basically like just fuck the man, fuck the cops, fuck the pigs, all that shit. But the irony is at the end, establishment and authority still wins. Sal ends up dead, Sonny ends up in jail. It all just ends terribly, basically, for all involved. Which also, basically, is how the counterculture ended. They all had a lot of good ideas, just not executed well. So the basic moral of this story is, don't rob a fucking bank. It's probably not going to end well. Unless you're incredibly fucking smart and can pull it off, which maybe 1 in like 1,000 people can do it. Don't fucking do it. It's not going to fucking end well. Alright, that's really it. I hope you enjoyed this insane, stoned ramblings from me. I I promise I'm going to try and get better at this. I'm still working at it. This is my first time just talking about a movie, and it's really hard to like talk about like so many different aspects of a movie in just one podcast. I didn't want this podcast to be where I sit and watch the entire movie and just give commentary over it, because that just gets boring. That's why I like to do research on the movie, write down a bunch of notes and then talk about it from there. And I feel it gives more of a personal feel to it instead of just me sitting there talking about a movie the whole way through when I had nothing to do with it and I'm just a fan. I think, if I ever get to make a feature film one day, or, I've been part of feature films and stuff like that, but, you know what I'm saying. If I ever make, like, my own movie one day, then I'll do full commentary. But until then, all you people get are just these insane ramblings from me. And if you're still listening at this point, good for you. I'm really happy. Thank you for supporting me. I'm trying my best. This is not easy. I don't know why I'm doing this, but, it's fun. I'm having a good time. I'm trying my best. And that's all that's important. Just try and do what you like in life. And what I like in life is I like watching movies, I like watching TV, and then I like talking about watching movies and TV. To the great annoyance of everybody around me. So thank you. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I hope you found some things informative. And please go watch Dog Day Afternoon. It is a great movie. Thank you, and please tune in next time to another great episode of Imagination Fun Time. And I hope you all have a great day.